Welcome to your preview show, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross in the 250 class here with Racer X, Jason Weigandt, Steve Matthes, Jason Thomas. We are in the Lion's Den, the palatial estate that is the Pulp MX Studios right here in Las Vegas. Why are we here? Not because we want to hang out with you. Definitely not because of your dogs, which are causing all kinds of problems on the set, but because Monster Energy Supercross just wrapped up, and all the residual heartbreak and triumph is probably going to spill into this 250 National Championship chase outdoors.
I've got a lot to say when it comes to 250 class. I have some strong takes, and I'm coming in with some,
shocking
some big opinions on this. No, but listen, before we get too far into this thing, a couple things for Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championships. JT, WW Ranch, Jacksonville, your home state, is in for Muddy Creek, and Glen Helen is once again off the schedule, and Paula is once again on the schedule. Which change are you looking forward to the most?
I think it'll be an interesting change to go to Florida. You wonder if the riders that raced the USGP a couple years ago will have any advantage having gone through a whole race weekend there. We haven't had a national in Florida in a while, so it'll be a great return to Florida for the series.
What I'm looking forward to is every single rider in the championship saying the week before, can't wait to go to my home race because I ride in Florida. I'm going to have a huge advantage over 39 other riders who also ride in Florida.
RJ Hemshire will be very excited.
Okay.
For WWE Ranch.
He had a good run.
He literally did win there, yes.
So the 250 class, as always, wild, wide open. That's what defines it. If you want to go to these events, be it at WWE Ranch or Pala or any of the other 10 rounds, go to promotocross.com. That's got the schedule. That's where you get the tickets. If you can't make it to the races, watch on TV with NBC, NBCSN, Mav TV, or just get the NBC Sports Gold Pass for motocross. You get to watch everything live on demand, commercial-free at home. Best announcers in the world, hands down.
Just turn down Weigandt, turn up GL, you'll be fine.
You'll be turned up, no doubt about it. So let's talk 250s. Okay, again, we're doing this show in Vegas because of the residual triumph and heartbreak from Vegas. It is unbelievable. At the beginning of April, a month ago, we were talking about Renaissance days for Mitch Payton's Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. They were dominating Monster Energy Supercross. Titles were a foregone conclusion.
You did a story on it.
Yes, I did a story on they're finally back. They're back to their old heights. No number one plates hung on the door in Supercross after heartbreaking, crushing losses for Austin Forkner, who's now out, for Adam Cianciarulo, who crashed late in Vegas. Now I don't know if they're even in position to win a title outdoors either. It could end up being another zero title season for them. Forkner's out. Garrett Marchbank's unproven. We don't know where Cianciarulo is mentally. Steve? It could come down to one man.
There's one rider.
Yes.
Still on the team. He was building throughout, started slow, building throughout the Supercross series. Never been an outdoor warrior, let's be honest.
Well,
here.
he was the one time he finally got to ride a 450.
Yeah, when he got on 450s, like some people predicted, he really shone.
Yeah.
And we saw what he could do. But Marty, that's Marty Davalos, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, Marty. So see what Marty can do outdoors for the team. But, I mean, look, the real story is Adam Cianciarulo.
Right. Marty can't get it done. We're saying you got to look at Forkner.
Yeah.
He's out, and Marchbanks and Marty, because we now do not know what we're going to get out of Adam Cianciarulo. Is he crushed? Is it done? Is it over? Where are we at now?
JT, I find it hard to if Adam had won the 250 Supercross series, I think he's third or fourth on my list of guys to win the outdoor title. I really do.
Really?
He's a bigger guy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a bigger guy. Outdoors hasn't always been his thing for a couple of reasons. We'll point out some other riders.
Okay.
So now with this, I mean, let's face it, that was a heartbreaking loss, and he has nobody to blame but himself. He threw it away. He made the mistake. He can either come out with fire and brimstone for 24 motos to show everybody the champion that he is and blah, blah, blah and all that, or he can let it defeat him. I don't know if he's going to let him defeat him, JT, but I think it affects him. I really do think it affects him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a critical couple days for people to keep his head in the right place. Because I am actually a little bit more optimistic about his chances this summer. But if he lets this be his defining moment of the year, then yeah, it's going to be a tough deal, and he's always going to be waiting for the other shoe to drop and things to go sideways because that's what he's run into in the past. But I think his ability and his talent and the motorcycle and everything else is in line for him to absolutely be in the mix for championship. If you had taken last night out of the equation for me, he's absolutely in my top 3 of title favorites. So I'm not going to veer away from that. The social media posts he's put out, the comments he made on television, I have a lot of respect for the character he's showing, and I think he has Nick Way. I think he has some, Mitch Payton. They've been through these things. They've seen tough times before. I think they're going to keep him grounded as much as possible. okay, maybe he doesn't win Hangtown, but I really do believe with Jeremy Martin out, with some of these guys not showing up, Austin Forkner out, I don't see how you don't have him in contention for this championship.
It's going to be tough. It's heartbreaking. You could use that for fuel. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of times, Joey Savacci going back 2 years ago, when you have a heartbreaking Supercross
Kind of where
loss.
I was going with.
Yes,
Yeah.
you could use it as fuel, but most of the time it just portends to a downward trend. So it's almost weird. It's almost like ghost zombie Adam Cianciarulo. He's going to be there, but is he going to be there is really the question.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see.
I want to thank our sponsors. Matthes is our title sponsors for these shows. Check out the MX ST tire developed by the king of Supercross, Jeremy McGrath, who also drives an off-road truck with Maxxis tires on it at times. Great tires. Check that out. 6D helmets, Pro Taper bars,
X-Brand goggles, choice of champions everywhere.
and Fly Racing. Anything, JT?
It's the official gear of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross.
Okay.
That's all that need to be said.
All right. So the championship, as successful as Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki has been through the years, as many number one plates are hanging on that door, the strongest team in the last few years in this class has clearly been Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha. A big thanks to that awesome power plant that the YZ250F has.
Hashtag Blue Crew.
Yep, they won titles of Jeremy Martin, Cooper Webb. Last year, Aaron Plessinger. Plessinger's graduated up. It's time for someone to step into those very large boots of his. They've got some capable hands over there. You got Dylan Ferrandis coming off of that West Coast Championship. Yes, Cianciarulo threw it away, but you have to give Ferrandis credit for doing it right under pressure. He got his only good start of the year and put in probably the best Supercross race he's ever put in to win that one. Ferrandis is better outdoors than indoors, there's no doubt about it. Then you've got Justin Cooper, who was great as a rookie last year. Those two, on those motorcycles, they're going to be tough to beat.
They are. They're really going to be good. 1A and 1B in my mind. And you know what? If you talk to a lot of racers behind the scenes, the guys that have been at the test tracks and seeing who's flying, and even his competitors have told me Justin Cooper is the real deal outdoors. They really have. Now, sort of had a couple so-so last few Supercross races after that takeout on him that he did on Sexton.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he's at with that. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But under the capable hands of Will Hahn, Justin Cooper and Dylan Ferrandis, I think, will be 1A and 1B, as I said. And Cooper's getting some buzz.
Well, third place in your inaugural outdoor campaign, that's strong. That's rare air to be in. So where does he go from there? Because we've seen guys go straight to the front and win. So, and we don't know. You know, this Supercross thing, this was his first real Supercross go at it. And I think if you're looking at, he's sitting in the offseason, he's probably hoping he does well in Supercross, but I think he sees a real chance to win this outdoor championship, knowing and taking Austin Forkner, who had kind of had him on the ropes all Supercross season. He's removed from the situation. He sees the tribulations that Adam Cianciarulo went through. So now he's like, well, maybe I just have to deal with the other guy in my truck, which is Dylan Ferrandis. There's a chance there that he could be in the mix.
You said something earlier today before we taped that was pretty bonkers.
No,
I'll be honest.
not bonkers. Solid.
You said Dylan Ferrandis is a heavy favorite for this outdoor title.
Bold.
Now, favorite, okay. Co-favorite, okay. JT, I'm not going with heavy favorite.
I'm not either, and I'll say simply this. Show me the times where Dylan Ferrandis has finished an entire outdoor motocross championship series and been at the front. Finished at the front, been a title contender for an entire outdoor series.
Yeah, Ferrandis, the talent, the riding style, the speed, just like you said, Justin Cooper flying at the test track. When you talk to a lot of riders, they really like the riding style of Ferrandis also. I don't think the talent or the speed has ever been in question. Yeah, it's been a consistency thing. There's no doubt about it. And when that dude gets hurt, he didn't just tweak a knee. He gets hurt. Yeah. And that's the problem last year. He came in late. The year before, he went out early. But when he was on last year, he was just as good as his teammate Plessinger. I think every bit as good, and Plessinger was championship material. I'm believing that this Supercross championship now proves that he's figured out the consistency and not wadding it up bad part. And I think that was the only part missing for Ferrandis. It goes all the way back to his days in Europe. He could have been the would-be champ when Hurlings would go out with injury. He would get hurt himself. I feel like the Supercross championship shows he's got that behind him, and I'm no longer worried about the consistency of Ferrandis, and I think he's the fastest guy in the class. There you go. Bold?
It is bold.
Not bold.
I think so. If you look at Supercross, though, you're talking about 8 or 9 races. He's been consistent. He's got to do that for 24 individual motos and put it together.
Yep.
I'm not saying he can't do it. He could absolutely win this championship, but heavy favorite that's bold.
I didn't see the moments that I used to see with him. The amazing but whoa in Supercross. I feel like he's straightened it out. Maybe a little credit to his coach trainer, David Villemin. He's on the full DV program, and you have to say, it worked. They got a championship.
Yeah, DV helped him out, helped Marvin out as well, complaining the whole way. Being there and doing that and everything else. I've never seen anybody.
When we say get your tickets at promotocross.com, I don't think Villemin is signing up.
It doesn't
he
seem
barely
like
wanted
it.
to even show up to Anaheim, let alone go all the way till August.
Rooftops,
Yes.
LA, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Villemin, was Saturday night Las Vegas at the race when his guy Dylan Ferrandis won the championship? That's the happiest I've ever seen him.
He actually was happy.
It was unbelievable. I've never seen him without all of the other stuff, like where he's upset and he's complaining, and he was genuinely happy. And as crushed as I was for Adam Cianciarulo, to see hard work pay off, everyone thinks Dylan Ferrandis is a nice guy. We all like DV2. That was cool to see, like true joy on their face too.
I want to round out that team, and again, they've got some awesome bikes over there, and they've won a lot of titles, races, and they've gotten some other guys on the podium. Colt Nichols, no more as a Supercross guy, but he's been on the podium outdoors before, and Freckle, Mitchell Oldenburg. He just needs to finally stay healthy and get some races under his belt. Both of those guys are capable of putting it on the box.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here
There were times where those guys were running all in top 5 or 6 and looking really good at times. So great bike, good team, and I look for more of the same this summer.
Now, I got to put my thinking cap on for this next team. When you see the piece of paper in front of me, you see right on the top of the list, Geico Honda, Jeremy Martin. What a critical juncture in this championship. We went into last year, I feel, with more obvious favorites. Zach Osborne, who had won the title before. Plessinger, a player. Martin, who had won the title before. All three of those guys have moved on. 450s for Plessinger and Osborne. Jeremy Martin is out. That's huge news for the 250 class. It's what makes it so hard to predict. Now Geico Honda has to rely on guys to take that next step in their career, to start getting wins and battling for titles. Chase Sexton was able to do it in Supercross. He went from a guy who had never won a Supercross before to now champion of 250 Supercross East. You're saying that Ferrandis is not a clear favorite, and one of the guys you said, oh yeah, you got to look out, he's right in the mix, is Chase Sexton.
The other champion from 250 Supercross, absolutely. I think Chase Sexton, 6th in the points last year. He takes that natural step up. When you talk to other racers, all they want to talk about is Chase Sexton's riding style, how great it looks, and what an animal he is off the bike, training-wise. And so, I think Chase Sexton takes a step up, 6th last year, and I think he'll be battles for podiums and wins throughout the summer. And JT, you're big on his Australian teammate.
Sexton will be good, no doubt about it. I worry about his starts a little bit. He got good starts, decent starts at the finale in Las Vegas, but outdoors it has been a problem for Sexton coming from the back. Hunter Lawrence he's going to be the real deal this summer. I don't think it can be overstated how much it helps to not have to deal with the whole Supercross grind. He's been out every single day riding, testing outdoors, putting in motos, only worried about Hangtown, getting everything sorted. Where everybody else is worried about these championships and Faulkner's injury and Cianciarulo's crushing defeat and Sexton's pressure title and Ferrandis, all of that hasn't been in Hunter Lawrence's world. He's only been worried about Hangtown. And you go back and you look at Eli Tomac dominating, all of these rookies that came in, and Hunter Lawrence is kind of in that boat where all of his prep work has been outdoors. I think Hunter Lawrence I think he's your Hangtown winner. I'm going to come out and say it. I think all of that prep, and we have history to back it up, it always pays off at Hangtown.
I'm with you, JT. My 6D helmet thinking cap is on. The 6D helmet, it gives me 3D vision. I can see into the future. I don't know how Hunter Lawrence's season is going to go, but I think it's going to start off amazing. And the real question is, when he wins Hangtown, and I'm with you with that on JT, I think he's going to come out like a house of fire. Mm-hmm. It's going to change the pressure dynamic. There's probably people watching this show that don't even know who he is. He's raced in Europe. We know there's world-class racers, but in America, they're not as well known. All the hype that's going to surround him when he starts hot, how is he going to manage that? And not all the races are going to go that well. That's the nature of the sport. Can he manage the highs and lows throughout the year is a bigger question to me than is he ready to go fast. But Hunter Lawrence, Sexton, and let's throw in one other guy that we need to think about with our 6D helmet. RJ Hampshire quietly got his first win last year and ended the season strong. Got better as Supercross went on too. Another guy you can't sleep on.
Yeah, I think RJ, it's a big summer for him. He's switching teams next year, so he's going to want to reward the Geico guys with a good finish and a good season. I mean, honestly, if I had to look at Ferrandis and Cooper, I would put...
Clear favorite, Ferrandis?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would put RJ a little bit behind those guys, but certainly I think he can get a race win, he can get a couple of podiums, some moto wins, things like that for RJ Hampshire. I think that will be very good.
Now, one other Geico Honda rider from Supercross who you will not see racing for Geico Honda and Lucas Oil Pro Motocross is Cameron Mcadoo. He's a topic because he ended the year with a solid podium ride in Las Vegas. That team is back to full strength. They got Lawrence and Craig coming back, so Mcadoo is knocking on the door of Pro Circuit. They do not have to fill Forkner's spot. He's hoping that they choose him to do that, so that's a real X factor there. But Geico back to full strength as far as they're concerned, except they don't have Martin. There's a rule change, by the way, Steve, coming in. Geico has a lot of amateurs in the pipeline, as do all teams now. Amateurs can race a race or two before they go to their A race at Loretta's now, which is a rule change. It's kind of like the way it used to be. You like that?
No, I don't.
You like really anything about the way the amateur system works?
The whole amateur system is designed to be a pro. You want to become a professional. Well, now you don't even have to worry about it. You can be a pro and still stay amateur. It's okay. Not a fan of the rule.
Okay. That's Steve going to get us all in trouble here.
All
okay,
right.
So I don't think from talking to the teams you're going to see like a huge impact as far as a ton of these amateur riders coming in and trying it. It'll be more after Loretta's like they usually do, but don't be surprised at some point in the year if a kid lines up for his first pro race at round 5, which isn't what we've seen probably for 20 years. Yes.
JT, one thing for sure, it'll really mess us up for Pulp MX Fantasy.
Well, but I do think it's kind of cool for some of these kids who they don't really know if they're good enough to move up or not. They're in that gray area, and we've seen kids like Sean Cantrell and Mitchell Falk. They've struggled a little bit. It hasn't just been a jump to the front, and we're killing it now.
Yes.
So for those kids, they will have an opportunity to jump into the deep end, see where they're at, and then reassess. So I understand Steve's side where he wants everybody to move up to pro as fast as you can and sink or swim. But for some of these kids, if they're not ready, it gives them an out. And like, hey, you need another year. And it doesn't ruin their career because some of these kids, they get their one shot, they don't perform, and it's done. They have a really tough time ever climbing back out of the cellar from that point.
We'll see how that goes, and we'll see how it goes for Geico Honda. Our next team we're going to get into, they need a bounce back. What a rough Supercross campaign for the Troy Lee Designs Red Bull KTM squad. They would have thought they had 2 title contenders with Shane McElrath, who was the main guy we talked about on our Supercross show. That didn't work out. Jordan Smith, that didn't work out either. They've got a couple of those young kids that you just mentioned, JT, with Sean Cantrell and Mitchell Falk. They really need to rally because they haven't shown enough to stay on board the factory level, at least not yet. So I feel like it's a pivotal summer for Troy Lee, Red Bull KTM to reestablish themselves as a front-running team. Can they get this done?
Well, it's pivotal summer, you're right, but JT, Jordan Smith, Shane McElrath, both coming off injuries.
Yeah.
So not exactly coming in hot to reestablish themselves.
Well, I think Jordan will be good. I think the decision to finish his Supercross season prematurely had outdoors in mind a bit. He was definitely injured, but they also realized, hey, championship's gotten away from us. We have
Forkner's just going to win all the races. What are you going to do? Right? How are you going to catch that guy?
Well, and he was so far back, it was kind of a lost cause at that point. So from hearing he's riding well, I do think he will be at the front of Hangtown. He's ridden well there before. I believe he's gotten second years past at Hangtown. So I expect a lot from him. I don't know where McElrath is at as far as his back injury. He seemed to really be laboring in the last few Supercrosses before he left the series. And he's been a little hit and miss in his last few outdoor championships as well. So he grabbed the win at Washougal last year, which was a huge highlight. But then there were a lot of weekends in there where he gave up huge points too.
Yeah.
So to be a real factor, he's got to be able to find a way to eliminate those bad ones and find that Washougal effort week in, week out.
It's always what makes the 250 class so intriguing. The 450 class, it's always known commodities. You kind of know what you're going to get every weekend. The 250s, a guy like McElrath will be getting 8ths every weekend, and then he wins motos and wins an overall out of nowhere.
I think that's always been the history of the 250 class or the 125 class going back in the day.
Yes.
That is absolutely it. So you'll never quite know. Sean Cantrell, Mitchell Falk came in. Just do your best, try to ride what you can, and put in good results when you can to catch an eye, I think, of another team.
Yeah, it's tough, and I know that's a big part of your amateur problem is the window for these kids to make it happen is very small because they've got other kids coming. There's a pipeline of kids. Derek Drake being one of those he's in line.
He's going to debut.
He's
We're
coming.
going to see him at Hangtown. Yep.
Yeah, for Falk and for Cantrell, I don't know what TLD KTM's plans are, but I do know it's time to perform if they want to ride there or somewhere else because this freight train of amateurs is going to keep on coming in.
Any other rants you want to mention?
Well,
points.
Well,
anything?
no, what'll probably happen this summer is a guy like Jacob Hayes or Brendan Hartraft, who we'll probably get to, will consistently outperform riders on factory-level equipment. And they will not have factory-level equipment nor factory-level salaries, but they will consistently outperform some of these kids. But they will never get hired because of said pipeline
JT
just brought up.
You don't think that Hartranft will get a shot at that?
I don't know.
I think he is on a lot of people's radar. I'm not saying it's a shoo-in that he gets a deal like that, but I think he's turned enough heads where if there's a spot and he's on a short list, I would bet you.
The pipeline is built because of this, because Kawasaki locked up Forkner and AC at a very young age.
Is this a preview, or are we can we argue about this on our podcast later?
Well, yeah, we'll do that every week. We'll do that every week.
Okay.
Kawasaki locks up a talent like AC and a talent like AF Austin Forkner. Look, once you got him, you can't beat those guys. You can't beat those guys.
The problem is in the evaluation factor, I think, because the kids that we're talking about are not Austin Forkner or Adam Cianciarulo, who have won multiple races and championships and all of that.
Right. And I was kind of riffing on they both ended up not winning this year. You just never know what's going to happen. So. I want to thank our sponsors. Matthes is our title sponsor of the show, the Matthes MX SD tire, developed by the king of Supercross, Jeremy McGrath, who really rides motocross more now that he's an older guy, so he knows what he's doing outdoors.
AJ Canzaro putting it in the main events with the MXST.
Yep, helping out privateers with MXST tires and Matthes. Also X-Brand goggles, 6D helmets, Pro Taper handlebars, and of course Fly Racing, official gear of the series, and a lot of privateers, dude. You guys are all in on
my personal favorite gear.
Really?
It's my favorite brand on earth.
Speaking of the Pro Taper bars, why don't you grab a hold of the Pro Tapers as we move on to a team that runs those handlebars. The very capable Rockstar Energy Husqvarna team, although your man Zaki Poo no longer can contend for this title because he's moved up to the 450 division. So the gap is going to have to be filled in by, some riders that came out of that amateur pipeline. Jordan Bailey, Michael Mosiman, they got to prove themselves this summer. But a really, really intriguing situation, Thomas Covington, the American who had to go to Europe, spent a lot of time over there, finally came back to the United States for the first time as a pro this season. Supercross season, straight up disaster. I can't even come up with a worse word than that, but it almost would be apt. Thomas Covington, can Big Air Tom pull this thing out? Does his motocross experience pay off in actual motocross?
I think so.
Okay.
Are you a believer, Steve?
No, I like Tom. Big Air Tom's a cool dude and everything else, but disaster might even be kind.
I couldn't come up with a worse word, so.
Why would Supercross indicate outdoor results? He's never ridden Supercross before. So you can, for me, I know you're not there. For me, you take Supercross and so what?
JT, he had 4 months on a factory track with a factory bike to prepare for
it's first
East
4
Coast.
months ever.
Okay.
First 4 months of his life.
I would doubt it's his first 4 months ever in his life. First of all, because he lived in America for a long time.
I believe it is.
I just, with all those advantages and to come out and just not be good at all, he will be, better in the Nationals. There's no doubt he'll be better in the Nationals. He's going to be a
top 20 guy at least?
Yes, he'll be top 20 guy in the Nationals. But I predict you cannot do what he did in Supercross, in my opinion, I'll see if I'm right, and come out and be a force outdoors.
Tell Michael Alessi that.
Michael Alessi was 10 times a Supercross racer that Thomas Covington was.
Probably true, but he also, the level was very vast. From his Supercross prowess to the rider he was at his best in outdoors, huge gap.
Mike Alessi podiumed with 450 Supercross. Okay, he has podiumed many 250 Supercrosses. That is something that Thomas Covington never even could foresee in his life. So that gap is very small to me.
I still don't think you can draw a parallel for. That would be like saying if Hunter Lawrence had raced Supercross this year, which he injured himself trying. I don't think it would have went well. That he's going to do terrible outdoors too. That's the same comparison. That's the exact same comparison.
Here's the problem with Covington. I'm going to have the Maxxis tire. We're going to make the rubber hit the road here with Covington.
And as you do that, what if I told you that Jeffrey Hurlings came over this year, raced Supercross, it went terribly? Are you like, he's out, we're done. He's going to do terrible outdoors. That's the same comparison and the same parallel you would draw.
Jeffrey Hurlings would make main events. He would not start the LCQs, grab whole shots in LCQs.
Covington got 11th in his first race ever.
He would not grab whole shots in LCQs and absolutely get
But what I'm telling you is that if it went poorly, would you draw the same parallel? Would you say Hurlings did bad in Supercross, he's going to suck outdoors?
Again, Hurlings will make main events.
We encourage you to subscribe to our podcast, such as the RacerX Podcast Network and Steve Matthes Show, and get more of this battle. Our producer actually just walked out as these guys started to argue. Here's where the Maxxis tire rubber hits the road. Here's the problem for Covington. He could be good outdoors, but because it was so bad in Supercross, I don't think good's going to be good enough. He's going to have to absolutely slay it. We know how the landscape works in this sport. If you're really bad at one, you better be really good at the other. So if he comes in and he's good, like he's getting 5 to 7th in every moto, which is really good against this field, for almost anybody else, that's fine. If you're RJ Hampshire and you're doing that, if you're Sexton and you're doing that, if you're Mitchell Oldenburg and you're doing that, if you're Colt Nichols and you're doing that and you're winning Supercross races in Anaheim, that's fine. I think Covington has to absolutely blast it, or it's going to be problems for him to get more rides over here, and that's a real issue.
I don't know about that because I don't know. I think he's got another year on his deal, from what I understand. So he's got another year to figure this out.
Is he going to slay it in Supercross next year?
No, but I'm just saying he's got another year, and I don't know if that Rockstar Husky team can afford a big dollar guy that they need for the 250 class.
Okay.
But having said that, I think Thomas Covington is a 7 to 12 place guy in the Nationals.
I think he'll be really good, but I feel like he needs to be great, and I'm worried that he's not going to be.
So
That's
you
the
feel
problem.
a 7 to 12 is a low?
When you're not making Supercross mains, yes.
No, just my placing. Do you put him in there?
I think he'll be better than that.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I feel like if he's not in title contention, you're going to see some raised eyebrows like, dude,
Okay.
that's what I'm worried about. His situation. Yes.
Yeah, title contention, let's hope so, right? Let's hope so because we all like Tom.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be good. I think the smartest decision they made this whole season was to say, yep, Supercross has gone poorly, let's go get ready for outdoors.
Yeah.
Because it's going to put him so far ahead of all of these other guys coming into Hangtown. And I think from Saturday morning when everybody comes in, and I've lived this, you come in Saturday morning from the first 2 practices, you're like, my bike handles terribly. I'm uncomfortable, it doesn't feel right, we need to change this. I think he's going to be in a much better place than all those guys because he's had 2 extra months of testing to work through all of those things. He's going to come in more confident. He's going to be in better shape. He's going to be able to handle the heat better. He's done all of these things where these other guys they're hitting whoop sections and squaring up turns and they're flying to East Rutherford and Nashville and Denver. He's just motoing and motoing and motoing. I like Covington's chances. I put him in that same realm as Hunter Lawrence. I think they're going to come in, and as I said earlier, we always see the guys that are more prepared show up at Hangtown, and I think that will put him on the right foot to get out of that, get the monkey off his back from that Supercross reputation left him with.
I got to get this tire back here, and I also want to avoid one more Matthes rant. If you're watching at home and you say, I don't really follow this GP Tour, how good is Covington actually? Well, he was battling for wins here and there. Consistency was always a problem for the championship, but on any given weekend, he could go 1-1 in MX2, the 250 class in Europe. Please, Steve, please, just try to stay away from a rant on the 250 class in Europe, please.
I'm good. Michael Mosman is also on the team. Michael Mosman got 11th in the points last year. Some good rides. We saw Indiana was really good. Again, how much mud that was, I
Got
don't
much
know.
better at Supercross as the year went on.
Mosman had a good second half in Supercross. He's slowly building. Jordan Bailey, I just found out golfs with Stu. And that's all I know is he golfs with Stu. So I like Jordan Bailey. I think he will do pretty well.
You're begging Jordan Bailey to keep going to these races so you can get more Stu stories.
Jordan Bailey's best race, I think, this Supercross season came at Daytona. Now, it's not an outdoor track anymore. It's far from that. But maybe that's an indication that Jordan Bailey, in his second year, can improve on last year's season. He got 16th last year, and hopefully he can get a little bit better and golf with Stu some more.
Okay, good job not going off on MX2 in Europe. Okay, let's thank our sponsors once again. Max is our title sponsor for the show. X-Brand goggles, Pro Taper handlebars, 6D helmets, and the good folks at Fly Racing who are sporting the Nationals as the official gear as well. And we've run through a lot of teams, a lot of riders, I think. Have we nailed it all, Steve?
No.
Are we missing anybody?
Yeah, we are.
We are?
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
Listen, all you assholes out there continue to underrate and underestimate and not talk about Alex Martin.
Oh, here we go
now,
again.
Granted, he just screwed me on this bet with Marty Davalos, and I got to clean the Pro Circus shop, so I'm not happy. But guess who got second in the series last year to Aaron Plessinger? Alex Martin. Guess who was second until about 3 rounds to go in 2017 in the series? Alex Martin. Guess who finished second in the series in 2016? Alex Martin.
Wow. It is funny how we have branded Marvin Musquin in the 450s as like the perennial second place guy. Why is Amart not getting branded as the perennial second place guy, which in this case would be a compliment, meaning you are a contender?
I just gave you the stats, which are probably surprising to people out there. Not me, as a member of Troll Train. But he doesn't get the wins. Let's face it. He doesn't get the wins. He doesn't show the outright speed. He has captured wins through consistency and through some moto wins here and there. But I mean, honestly, people, like, let's not. The bike is better. The JGR Suzuki is better. Jimmy Dakota's pulled some whole shots on it. Kyle Peters consistently up front. Amart did pull a whole shot on it. The bike is better than it was. I just racked off all the stats for Amart's national success. He's a better outdoor guy than indoor guy. Am I claiming this is the year of Alex and all that? No, but if you don't put him in the top 4 at the overall points, I think you're making a mistake. I really do.
Here's, I think, the problem now with Amart. The 3 straight years of being a contender, I think, has almost made the contender thing finally stick. It is amazing that it took 3 years of being a contender for him to finally be thought of a contender one time. Mm-hmm.
But it unfortunately dovetails with him getting on this Suzuki 250, which I don't think, maybe on the inside, is good, but I don't think the mass perception is, oh man, that bike's good enough to win races. So JT, is it? Can he get this done? Can he win and at least be as good as he usually is?
I absolutely think so. You
Yeah.
look at, he hole-shotted East Rutherford main event. I
Yeah.
think they've taken big steps forward with the motorcycle. So
Yeah.
winning or losing, I don't think it's going to be an equipment thing, which I don't know if I could say that in the past couple of years on that JGR Suzuki 250. The question for me is, and Steve, you're going to have to answer this, I think it comes down to chips and salsa and a little bit of wine. How does that play into this outdoor championship?
That was fine. That was, as Weigandt got the scoop on that, that was Alex sort of relaxing a little bit before the big push.
Okay.
Yes.
Before the 24
Okay.
that are coming up. So
Yeah, he told me his diet's totally clean now. He's ready.
I like Alex Martin. I think he's underrated. I think Troy Lee Design should have kept him, which they would have, but they had a pipeline of coming, so they had to let him go. And I just think, again, Amart, look for him to win motos. Look for him a lot of podiums.
Winning motos?
Sure,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
And look for him to get a lot of podiums and be up there at the end of the year.
Only thing I actually worry about with Amart is that it could lead to another rant where you managed to step right into the amateur pipeline thing. But I'm more worried about last year when things were really materializing. Zach Osborne went out and Martin went out, his brother, with injury. And Plessinger was not quite in his stride yet. It was there for the taking for Alex, and he made mistakes when those opportunities came.
Tennessee will forever bite us.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Muddy Creek was not good for us, but
When the door was open, he
yeah,
couldn't quite
These things
capitalize.
happen, but
But the key, I think, is to stay positive. And the good thing for Alex is he has one of his good buddies on his side who is always there with positive affirmation. Alex's best friend in the whole world, the always sun shining
Yeah.
in all situations, Phil Nicoletti.
I think we should probably go over to Phil. He's up in Canada right now, getting
Yeah.
ready, but we should go to Phil for his maybe prediction on
Okay.
Alex, right?
Alex Martin?
Alex Martin.
Yeah, all right, let's go to Phil for a prediction on his buddy Alex Martin. How do you think it's going to go, Phil?
Not that good, I guess. Or not,
Always
maybe good?
insightful. Always insightful,
Yeah.
Phil Nicoletti.
I feel like with Phil, if he had said something, it would have been horrible and mean.
Yeah,
so that was actually
probably
good.
good point.
He's
So,
exercising if you don't have anything nice
Yes.
to say,
Yep.
say nothing at all.
Took his whole life, but he finally learned that.
listen, my thoughts on Alex Martin could change if I see him with troll hair and troll makeup on for this summer. That's all I'm saying. I'll just put that out there.
It was a good look, but not a good look for I'm looking to win races tomorrow. Yes.
Thank you.
Steve, I have stumbled into a rant again because we have one other team and set of riders we want to mention. You already somehow weave them in already. You like these solid, lesser-known workhorse-type guys. That's the specialty of the CycleTrader.com Rock River Yamaha team, and they've got two of them. We're Brandon Hartraft, New Jersey's own, close to my heart. And also the Arena Cross champ, Jacob Hayes. A lot of times Arena Cross-type dudes struggle outdoors, but Hayes, he moved into Arena Cross eventually. As an amateur, he was very good at motocross. So what about Hayes and Hartraft?
I like both those guys. I think they're going to do well. Hayes is very motivated. I mean, he's coming off a bit of an injury. His super agent, Daniel Blair, I don't think has told us he'll be 100% ready for Hangtown, but I like a motivated rider like Jacob Hayes, and so he is certainly that way. And Hartraft is I think a underrated jewel in our sport, a guy who's maybe almost too big for a 250F, on that borderline. The equipment probably isn't as good as the star guys. The Cycle Trader team does the best with what they can get.
Yeah, it's not the full factory team.
It's not the full factory team. So I think Hartraft, keep an eye on Brandon. Obviously last year he got off to a rough start and missed. Then he got hurt.
tore ACL,
Yeah, tore his ACL. But I like Hartraft.
I think so too. I don't know if they're going to be at the very sharp end of the spear. I think you're going to see top 10 results from both of them. But you talk about Amart being able to win motos and be in championship contention, and he's a perennial top 3, top 4 series guy. I don't know if that's where you see these other two. And
No, we don't.
not being on factory level equipment, I think, indicates that as too. But both of them should be solid. I do expect them to be top 10 guys, which is for that team, for Cycle Trader, Rock River, that's solid results.
I think they'll be good enough to get on factory teams in the future, and then I will remind you that there's still room.
Burst through this pipeline.
Yeah, I will
okay,
remind you
okay,
that there's
okay,
still
all right.
room for guys to do that. It
Sounds
happens
good.
all the time.
Can't wait.
Justin Cooper was not in the pipeline. They made room.
Still Hartraft.
They did. That's not true. They made room in the pipeline for him. If you're fast, people will sign you. Don't even worry about it. A couple other things. We did an X brand looking into the future segment, but Steve, I feel like we've let you rant so much, I'm almost afraid of what you might say.
I'm going to look into the future and say that I'm going to rant about amateurs this summer.
You want to?
No, I don't even need that goggle
Please,
for that.
you
I don't even
said
need that
enough.
goggle for that.
I just feel like when you look at the 250 class, we have guys coming from Europe, we have workhorse guys, we have guys who are amateurs, we have veterans like Amart. I feel like we're getting a nice tapestry of all parts of motocross, and there's room for everyone as long as you're fast. So let's just get to our predictions. Fly Racing is going to bring us, who do we think are going to be our flyers this year? In our 450 show, we did it this way. We pick a title winner, and then our other two predictions, it's not second and third, no one cares about that. We just predict other things that are going to happen. So, I mean, it's pretty easy for me. I'll just start it right here. Clear favorite, Dylan Ferrandis. That's your title guy, I believe. I've got to come up with two other predictions that I think are going to happen. I think you'll see Mcadoo in the series somehow, some way, and he's going to be very good.
Ram it.
Yeah, he'll be ramming it, but he won't be because he'll be on a factory team. Again, they found room for him in the pipeline. And also in the 250 class, you're going to see these dudes on Yamahas. You're going to see like Colt Nichols and guys like that battling up front, or Mitchell Oldenburg, guys you don't normally think. That team has just been so solid the last couple years. Don't count any of those guys out at any time.
Okay, I'll go title favorite. For me, I'll go Dylan Ferrandis. I do think he gets it done, but not heavy favorite at all.
All right.
It'll be a battle with Chase Sexton. It'll be a battle with Alex Martin. It'll be a battle with Justin Cooper. And it'll be a battle with Adam Cianciarulo, I think, at points. My second one will be Alex Martin finishes second in the points. Wins multiple motos.
Multiple moto wins.
Multiple moto wins for Alex Martin. And also, too, so my third one, I'll probably say something like, I think, and I said it earlier, Chase Sexton takes a huge step up this summer. 6 in the points last year. Ultimately, I think Chase Sexton will battle for podiums throughout the year.
Okay. My title pick, I'm going to go Dylan Ferrandis, but I am not confident in that pick at all. You could sway me very easily. Okay. Yeah, you're a heavy favorite, you said. Predictions, I think Adam Cianciarulo is going to use the disappointment of Vegas as fuel all summer long. I think he will, you can either sink or you can use it to fuel the fire, right? There's two different ways and they're
Or swim.
Stark contrast, okay?
You said sink, swim.
Sure, okay. Fair enough. As you said, swim legs in one of our previous videos. I don't know what that is. But I do think he's going to be able to move forward and move past it and draw from it. I just think that's in his DNA and in his character. He's been through so many problems in the past and just keeps coming and keeps coming. I don't think this is going to be the defining moment. And I also think, which I've touched on a few times, I think you're going to see an overwhelming barrage from the guys that sat out Supercross at Hangtown. That early round, and it'll even out. These guys are going to come around by, I would say, Lakewood. These guys are going to come around and it'll even out a bit, but early, these guys are going to be just like, holy cow, where did this come from? But it's all that preparation that we've talked about.
We love it in the 250 class. That kind of unpredictability. You have the known commodities, the superstars of the 450s, and the tapestry of different backgrounds, different riders, all getting their shot on these massive 250 teams. That's what we love about Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Get your tickets at promotocross.com. It has a schedule, everything you need to know. And if you want to watch on TV, you can check it on NBCSN, NBC, and MAV TV, or just get the Gold Pass with NBC Sports, the app, and you can listen to myself and Grant Langston, the best announcers in the world. And then you could just be in the announcer's tower watching the races.
Yeah, I'll be there.
While I watch my predictions come true. Thanks to our sponsors, Matthes and their MXST tire, X-Brand goggles, Pro Taper handlebars, 6D helmets, and Fly Racing. Thanks for watching the show. Keep tuned to Racer X, of course, all summer long for all the coverage from Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. See you at the races.